Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and on this video I will compare three different Marshall JCM800 203s. The Zakk Wylde Signature one from 1984 with 6550 power tubes, and this one from 1985 with EL34 power tubes. Okay, so the much requested comparison. What are the differences? Generally, in my experience, the vertical input ones aren't as aggressive as the ones with horizontal input. No idea why. That's just my experience, because I played with a bunch of JCM800 203s and JMP 203s during my career. Okay, so these two, they both were originally with EL34s, but I have switched 6550 tubes for this because these sounded identical. I have done a comparison video, put the link there maybe. So these were basically identical. These two are the most aggressive and kind of untamed beast Marshalls I've played, and luckily I own them. They are stuck, but they're still really aggressive. The settings are on both presence 6, bass around 9, mids around 5, treble around 6, master around 2.5, preamp between 7.5, 8. So these amps are cranked when the master is at 3. Doesn't go any louder after that, because you know usually you have to, it's 6, but forget the numbers. These are like, let me demonstrate. 0, 0.5, 2, 3, after 3 I turn it to like 8, nothing happens. So they are cranked at like 3.5. It just goes. So I think the sweet spot is around 3. You get that power amp distortion involved and that grit. All right. So no effects on, and the preamp is, when it's maxed, it's kind of. So I think the sweet spot is between 7 or 8, depending how much preamp gain you want. All right, now I'm switching between these. And now from 6550 to EL34. So as you can hear, there's not that much difference. The EL34 one has a little bit, maybe that upper high mids, and I guess it's a kind of warmer. This is kind of like harder, more like tang, but the differences are quite subtle. It's mostly the playing feel. And well, with the super overdrive both. All right. So those were the differences between these two, and as you can hear, they are quite exceptional, since they have a bit more preamp and low end, and I guess a bit more everything than on your standard one. You know, these aren't modded, but well, I mean, what old amplifier is stuck? I mean, this has been retubed, there's some parts has been changed. I think power transformers, you know, when they were out, because, you know, these are old. So it's like, you know, what is a stock Marshall? But there's no like your, you know, common mods hasn't been done, like adding something to get whatever. So basically these are stuck. Okay, then I'm gonna turn this off and I will compare these two with 6550 power tubes. The next. All right, so now the Zakk Wylde one and the one with 84 are hooked. So first the 84 one without anything, and the master is now at 2. I'll tell you why soon. The Zakk Wylde one master at 6, and it's still a little bit quieter. I think the sweet spot on this Wylde one is 6. After that it's a little bit, but well, it's now 6.5. So the levels, this is master at 6.5, this is at 2. So this is cranked. So don't look at the numbers, listen to your ears. And the settings are I haven't touched these settings when I did the comparison between these two, except I needed to turn down the master, because I couldn't get this one as loud as this when the master was at 3. It's like after 7 it starts to go like the sound just becomes horrible. So 6.5, it's 6.5, it's controllable. And as you can hear, this is the high end isn't as harsh, which I've noticed with others, these vertical input ones, when I played, because I played with like standard EL34 with vertical inputs and JMP, and this is more like a JMP, a little bit not as aggressive, I guess, a bit more vintage sounding, if you will. Alright, I like them both. This is just a bit more aggressive and it has more gain on tap. But with this one, the gain preamp after 8, it becomes just a little bit too much. So usually I have it like 7 or 8, then it's around the same than this one, the preamp at 10. Alright, let's try with Super Overdrive. First the Zakk Wylde one. So, conclusion. These two with horizontal inputs are a bit more aggressive and has a little bit more gain, and I guess a little bit more low end too, because now it was 9 and this was full, than this one. And during my over 20 years experience of playing with many different amps, especially with many different 800s, I guess this applies generally also, at least in my experience. So the vertical input ones aren't as aggressive as the original from early 80s with horizontal inputs. I have no idea why that is. I love them both. I mean, this, as you heard, there's a lot more kind of that harsh, if you will, high-end, but in the mix it's perfect. It's really aggressive. I've used these amps on many albums. This one, I guess when I'm playing now, it's more how do I say it, pleasurable for the ear, because I think it's a little more kind of like balanced sounding. I don't know, you know, you can't really argue when it comes to matter of everyone's tastes, but this was just what I think about what are the differences. But with now I use the Bass Super Overdrive, with overdrive, you know, and tweaking the knobs, you can get these to sound, you know, if you want more harsh, high-end like this, with this, just, you know, turn more presence or treble or whatever, or experiment with different overdrives. But in general, JCM800s, I think they are all great. Depending on the year, what kind of inputs, what kind of tubes. Some have more gain than others, some have more bass, some more this, some more that. But in general, they all sound great. And especially the 2203 ones. I owned a 2210, but I didn't really like it that much. I'm more of a 2203 guy. Hey, hopefully this was informative, interesting, and maybe you get some answers to maybe questions that have, you know, you have wondered. Hey, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care, stay tuned. Bye.